They said love only belongs to those who share the same world. But what happens when two hearts from opposite worlds collide? One rich, one poor. One with everything, the other with nothing, except dreams. This is not just a love story, it's a battle between destiny and society. Will their love conquer the walls built by money and pride? Or will the world tear them apart forever? Stay with me till the end, because this story will make you believe in love again. Adrian stepped out of his black luxury car, adjusting his watch as he looked around the small countryside village. It was quiet, peaceful, and so different from the busy city life he was used to. Today, he was here for a charity event organized by his father's company. Adrian didn't really want to come, but his father insisted. The village square was full of people. Small stalls were lined up, selling food, clothes, and handmade items. Adrian walked slowly, noticing how simple life here was. Suddenly, his eyes stopped on a small food stall at the corner. A young girl stood there, serving people with a warm smile. Her clothes were simple, but she looked beautiful in a natural way, something Adrian had never seen before. Her name was Lila. She was busy arranging plates when Adrian walked closer. She didn't notice him at first. When she finally looked up, their eyes met. For a second, everything felt still. Adrian felt something strange, a calm feeling, yet exciting. "Can I have one plate of rice?" Adrian asked politely. Lila nodded and quickly served him. "Here you go," she said softly. Her voice was sweet, and she didn't seem nervous at all, even though Adrian's expensive clothes and car showed he was rich. As Adrian paid for the food, a rude man suddenly pushed Lila and shouted at her for being slow. Lila lowered her head and apologized, even though it wasn't her fault. Adrian felt angry. "Hey, don't talk to her like that," Adrian said firmly. The man looked at him and then walked away. Lila looked surprised. No one had ever defended her before. She gave a small smile. "Thank you," she said quietly. Adrian smiled back. "You don't deserve that. You're doing a good job." That was the first time they spoke. Adrian walked away with the plate, but his mind stayed with her. He didn't know why, but something about Lila felt different, special. The next day, Adrian visited the village again. He told himself it was for the charity work, but deep down he wanted to see Lila. He walked around the small square, pretending to check the stalls, but his eyes were searching for her. And then he saw her. Lila was at the same stall, working hard under the hot sun. Her hair was tied back, and she was serving customers with the same warm smile. Adrian noticed how tired she looked, yet she didn't complain. She treated every person with respect. He walked up to the stall. "One more plate, please," he said with a smile. Lila looked up, a little surprised to see him again. "Sure," she said softly. She quickly served him the food. While Adrian was about to pay, a group of boys came running to the stall. They were laughing and making fun of Lila. One of them grabbed a plate without paying. "Hey, stop that," Lila said, trying to get the plate back. But the boys laughed louder. Adrian stepped forward. "Put it back," he said in a strong voice. The boys froze. They looked at him, noticed his expensive watch and clothes, and backed off immediately. "Sorry, sir," one of them said before they ran away. Lila stood there, shocked. No one had ever stood up for her before. She looked at Adrian, her eyes full of gratitude. "Thank you again," she said softly. Adrian smiled. "You don't need to thank me. People shouldn't treat you like that." For a moment, they just looked at each other. Lila didn't know why he cared so much. Adrian didn't know why he felt so protective of her. All he knew was that he wanted to see that smile again. The smile that made the whole hot day feel cooler. As Adrian walked away, he knew something had started. Something he couldn't explain. It was late afternoon when Adrian finished his work at the charity office. Dark clouds began to cover the sky, and soon, heavy rain started pouring down. Adrian didn't bring an umbrella. He ran toward the village market, hoping to find some shelter. As he looked around, he saw a small wooden shed near the food stalls. Without thinking twice, he ran toward it. When he entered, he was surprised to see someone already there, Lila. She looked up, holding a basket of vegetables close to her chest. Her hair was wet, small drops of water sliding down her cheeks. She gave him a shy smile. "You again," Adrian said with a smile. Lila laughed softly. "Looks like the rain wants us to meet." Adrian chuckled. "I guess so." He shook his wet hair and sat on a wooden bench inside the shed. Lila stood near the door, watching the rain fall heavily. For a moment, there was silence, just the sound of rain hitting the ground. Adrian broke the silence. "Do you come here every day?" "Yes," Lila replied. "I help my mother with the food stall. It's the only way we earn money." Adrian nodded, listening carefully. "Do you like it?" Lila smiled faintly. "I don't have a choice. Life is not easy, but I'm used to it." Adrian felt something in his chest. She spoke with so much strength, yet her eyes told a story of struggles. "And you?" she asked suddenly. "Why are you here? People like you don't usually visit villages." Adrian looked at her and smiled. "Maybe I'm here for a reason." Lila looked away, feeling her heart beat faster. She didn't know why his words made her feel strange, but she quickly changed the topic. "The rain is not stopping soon," she said. Adrian looked outside, then back at her. "That's okay," he said softly. "I don't mind waiting, as long as I'm not alone." Lila felt her cheeks grow warm. For the first time in her life, she didn't want the rain to end. After the day in the rain, something changed between Adrian and Lila. They didn't say much, but both of them felt it. Adrian started visiting the village more often. At first, he told himself it was for charity work, but deep inside he knew it was because of her. Every time he came, he found an excuse to stop by Lila's stall. Sometimes he bought food. Sometimes he just asked for water. But really, he just wanted to see her smile. One afternoon, he saw Lila sitting near the river after closing her stall. She was throwing small stones into the water, her face calm but a little sad. Adrian walked toward her quietly. "Mind if I join you?" he asked gently. Lila looked up, surprised but not unhappy. "Sure," she said, moving a little so he could sit beside her. For a few minutes, they sat in silence, listening to the soft sound of water. Then Adrian asked, "Do you ever dream of leaving this place?" Lila smiled faintly. "Sometimes. I dream of going to the city, working in a school, maybe becoming a teacher. But dreams cost money, and I don't have that." Adrian looked at her, feeling something deep inside. She wasn't like the girls he knew in the city. She didn't care about expensive things. She cared about simple dreams. "You're different," Adrian said softly. Lila laughed a little. "Different? How?" "You see life in a way no one else does." "It's beautiful," he said, his eyes locked on hers. Lila felt her heart beat faster. No one had ever said something like that to her. She looked away, afraid he might see the blush on her cheeks. The sun slowly went down, painting the sky orange and pink. They didn't talk much after that, but the silence wasn't empty. It was warm. That day, both of them knew something was growing between them, something neither of them could stop. For days, Adrian kept visiting the village. He and Lila grew closer, sharing small conversations, small smiles. Lila started feeling something she had never felt before, but she never said it out loud. One morning, while Lila was arranging plates at her stall, she overheard two women talking behind her. "Do you know who that young man is?" "The one who visits the stall every day," one woman whispered. "Yes," the other replied. "He is Adrian Knight, the son of the richest businessman in the city. His family owns half of this region." Lila froze. Her hands stopped moving. Richest businessman? Son of a billionaire? She felt her heart drop. She had no idea. All this time, she thought Adrian was just a kind man helping in charity work. Adrian came to the stall a few minutes later, smiling as always. "Hi, Lila," he said cheerfully. But Lila didn't smile back. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked in a low voice. Adrian looked confused. "Tell you what?" "That you're rich. That your family owns everything here," she said, her voice shaking. Adrian sighed. "Because it doesn't matter. Not to me." "It matters to me," Lila said, looking down. "You and we live in different worlds, Adrian. You don't belong here." "I don't care about money," Adrian said firmly. "I just care about you." Lila shook her head. "People like you don't end up with people like me. It never works." Her eyes filled with tears, but she quickly wiped them away. "Please don't come here again." Adrian reached for her hand, but she stepped back. Without another word, she turned and walked away, leaving Adrian standing there, his heart breaking for the first time in his life. That night, Adrian couldn't sleep. He stared at the ceiling, thinking of her words. He knew it wouldn't be easy. But he also knew one thing for sure. He wasn't ready to give up on her. Not now, not ever. Adrian returned to the city with a heavy heart. He couldn't stop thinking about Lila. Her words kept echoing in his mind. "You and we live in different worlds." He wanted to prove her wrong, to show her that love was stronger than money. But things became harder when his family found out. One evening, Adrian's parents called him to the living room. His father, Mr. Knight, sat with a stern face, while his mother looked worried. "We heard about the girl," his father said coldly. "A poor village girl? Adrian, what are you thinking?" Adrian took a deep breath. "I'm thinking that I love her." His mother's eyes widened. "Love? Adrian, you belong to a family of status. People look up to us. You can't throw it all away for some village girl." "Don't talk about her like that," Adrian said sharply. "She is kind, honest, and real, something money can't buy." His father slammed his hand on the table. "Enough. This is not some fairy tale. You will marry someone from our circle, someone who understands our world. Adrian stood up, his eyes full of anger. No. I will marry the girl I love, and no one can stop me. Don't be foolish, his father shouted. Do you realize what people will say? Do you realize the shame this will bring to our name? I don't care about the name, Adrian said firmly. I care about Lila. His mother's voice softened. Adrian, please think about your future. That girl cannot give you the life you deserve. Adrian's voice broke a little, but he didn't back down. She gives me something money never could, happiness. He turned and walked away, leaving his parents in shock. That night, Adrian stood by his window, looking at the city lights. He knew his family would never accept Lila easily, but his decision was made. He would fight for her, no matter what it took. Lila stayed awake all night after her last conversation with Adrian. Her heart wanted to believe him, but her mind reminded her of reality. He is rich, and I am poor. His world is full of luxury, and mine is full of struggles. The next day, she sat by the river where they used to meet. She held a small piece of paper and a pen in her hand. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she began to write. Adrian, you have given me the most beautiful days of my life, but our worlds are too different. I can't let you fight your family because of me. Please don't look for me. Forget me and be happy. Lila. Her hands shook as she folded the letter. She left it at the food stall where they first met, then walked away without looking back. By evening, Adrian came to the stall as usual, hoping to see her smile again. But Lila wasn't there. He asked the other vendors, but no one knew where she had gone. Then he saw the letter. He opened it, and as he read the words, his heart shattered. He clenched the paper in his fist, his eyes burning with pain. No, he whispered. I can't lose her. Meanwhile, Lila walked down a lonely road, leaving the village behind. She didn't know where she would go, but she knew one thing: if she stayed, Adrian's life would be ruined. That was the last thing she wanted. She looked up at the sky, whispering, Please, Adrian, forgive me. Her steps were slow, heavy, but determined. She believed this was the only way to protect him, even if it broke her heart into pieces. That night, Adrian searched everywhere, calling her name in the empty streets, but she was already gone. Adrian couldn't believe what he read in Lila's letter. His hands were shaking, his heart beating fast. He read the words again and again, hoping they would change, but they didn't. She was gone. He rushed through the village asking everyone, Have you seen Lila? Where did she go? But no one knew. Some people shrugged. Some said they saw her walking toward the main road with a small bag. That was all. Adrian drove through every road leading out of the village, his eyes scanning the fields, the bus stops, every corner where she could be. But she wasn't there. When the night fell, Adrian parked his car by the riverside, the place where they had sat together so many times. The sound of water reminded him of her laughter, her voice. He closed his eyes and whispered, Why, Lila? Why did you leave me? Days turned into weeks. Adrian searched everywhere. He used his family's contacts, called every bus station, and even hired private investigators. He didn't care how much it cost. He just wanted to find her. His parents noticed how broken he was. His mother tried to comfort him. Adrian, please stop this. She chose to leave. Let her go. But Adrian shook his head every time. I can't. I won't. Months passed, and Adrian began to lose hope. Every morning he woke up with the same thought. Will I find her today? And every night he went to bed with the same pain. Another day without her. One evening, as he sat in his car staring at the sunset, he made a promise to himself. No matter how long it takes, I will find you, Lila. I will bring you back. He started the engine and drove off, his heart full of determination. 6 months passed. Adrian was still searching, though everyone told him to stop. But he couldn't. He woke up every day with the same thought. Where are you, Lila? One morning, Adrian received a call from one of his investigators. Sir, I think we found her. His heart jumped. Where? In a small town about 3 hours from the city. She's working at a school. Adrian didn't wait. He grabbed his keys and drove as fast as he could. His hands were trembling on the steering wheel. His heart beating like a drum. Please let it be true. Please let it be her. When he reached the small school, he saw children running and laughing in the yard. And then he saw her. Lila. She was standing under a tree, holding a book, helping a little girl with her homework. Her hair was tied back, and she wore a simple dress. She looked even more beautiful than before. Calm, happy, but different. Adrian stepped out of the car, his legs feeling weak. Lila turned slowly, as if she felt someone watching. When her eyes met his, everything around them stopped. Adrian, she whispered, her voice shaking. He walked toward her, his eyes full of tears. He didn't care about the children staring. He didn't care about anyone. When he reached her, he said softly, Why did you leave me? Lila's eyes filled with tears too. I had to for you. No, Adrian said, his voice breaking. Don't ever say that again. My life means nothing without you. Before she could answer, he knelt on one knee right there in the schoolyard. Teachers and children watched in silence as Adrian held her hand and said, I don't care about money. I don't care about status. All I care about is you. Please come back to me. Lila covered her mouth, tears falling down her cheeks. For a moment she couldn't speak. Then she whispered the words Adrian had waited so long to hear. Yes. After Lila said yes, Adrian stood up and hugged her tightly. For the first time in months, he felt alive again. The children cheered and the teachers smiled. Everyone could see how much they loved each other. Adrian looked into Lila's eyes and said, I promise, I will never let you go again. Lila nodded, tears still on her cheeks. I was so scared, she whispered. I thought your family would never accept me. Adrian held her hands firmly. I don't care what anyone thinks. If they can't accept you, then they can't have me either. But Adrian didn't need to fight anymore. When he returned to the city with Lila, his parents were waiting. At first, they were angry, but when they saw the love in their son's eyes, their hearts softened. His mother spoke first. Adrian, are you truly happy with her? Yes, Adrian said without hesitation. Happier than I've ever been. There was a long silence. Then his father sighed. If this is what you want, then we will accept her. Lila's eyes widened in surprise. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Adrian hugged her, whispering, I told you. Love always wins. A few months later, the wedding day came. It was held in a beautiful garden under the open sky. Lila wore a simple white dress, and Adrian wore a classic black suit. Their friends, family, and even villagers came to celebrate. When Lila walked down the aisle, Adrian couldn't take his eyes off her. She looked like a dream. When they exchanged vows, Lila's voice shook as she said, "No matter where life takes us, I will always love you." Adrian smiled, holding her hand tightly, "And I will love you until my last breath." As they kissed, everyone clapped and cheered. The wind blew gently, the flowers danced, and the sun shone bright, as if the whole world was blessing their love. From that day on, Adrian and Lila started a new life together. A life not built on money or status, but on love, the strongest thing of all.